What's going on, guys? Seth and Chevy here. We just watched season 1 of Sakamoto Days. We'll be reviewing it in its entirety, and we may talk about spoilers here, likely. So if you have not watched this season, you should watch it and come back and join us for this review. And we'll do, we typically do a recap, but this is the whole season. So basically, the show is about ex-legendary assassin Sakamoto. What's his? Taro. And how he was like the greatest assassin ever, but he ended up leaving once he found love in his life, ended up having a kid, and opened up a convenience store, and he's living a life of not crime. Throughout the show, he meets different characters. All of them typically are people trying to assassinate him. And he lives up to the legend of Sakamoto constantly by being able to either defeat the people who try to assassinate him or turning them into employees, including clairvoyant Shin, mafia daughter or triad daughter Lu, sniper Heisuke. He didn't get this person to join, but I assume we'll see them later. Seba, who is a dude who can turn invisible, and a bunch of other characters. Every episode basically is them going to different locations, thwarting would-be assassins, trying to take them out in these different locations and different adventures where we get action sequences and comedy constantly. There is a bunch of different dynamics going on between triads, mafia, syndicates, and a assassin killer, Slur, who we get some information about a bit throughout the first season, but nothing too clear, and get some backstory on some of the characters, including Shin and Lu. And the season pretty much ends with us knowing that there are 4 psychopaths who have been brought to take out Sakamoto, and that is something that I believe we will see in season 2 if we get a season 2. But basically, the show is a very straightforward formula. Every episode, different location, different assassins, with tidbits of information on Sakamoto's past and everybody else's past. And just crazy shenanigans of how are they going to get out of this situation in this episode. We watched the whole season. What do we think?
Yeah. So I didn't know a whole lot about this before it came out. And then it just kind of like showed up on social media all over the place and was getting hyped up quite a bit. So it's kind of opted to suggest it, and we decided to watch it. So
also one of the first animes I saw merch for in stores before it came out, which is weird because it took forever for Chainsaw Man merch to show up in stores after the show came out.
Well, and I also think too that
maybe Netflix had a better campaign to do that.
Well, I think Sakamoto Days, and I could be wrong, correct me if I am wrong, wasn't Shonen Jump. I don't think Chainsaw Man is. And Shonen Jump is going to have merch rights a little easier than I think most people. So, plus I do believe the manga is pretty well received. So, I'm not 100% sure though. I don't read manga. So
this show seems like it would work really well as a manga, as it's and a show too. But like every story arc in every episode feels like its own little serialized thing happening.
Right. It definitely has that like every episode's like a mini adventure type of thing.
Yeah.
And every once in a while we get a 2-episode thing, which is fun. I did for the most part enjoy the show. I have some nitpicks, but they're not major. I would it's jumping ahead a little bit, but I'm definitely interested in seeing season 2. I did enjoy the show. The characters are fun and likable, although very extreme in their appearances, especially the villains. But I mean, that's not a bad thing. The one thing I kind of have constantly equated this show to is it kind of has like the One Punch Man thing going on, where you have the one invincible guy and then a bunch of side casts, because watching an invincible guy all the time would get boring. Straight up would not be fun after a while. So you need this cast of characters who have a more normalized level of power that do struggle and stuff like that. Otherwise, why are you watching the show, right? So I think he handles that pretty well, though I would like to see a little more out of Lou personally. She seems like she's a fun character, but like I feel like very underutilized.
Very, very underutilized. She's like a B character who's on screen all the time. The last 2 episodes, we got a little bit of background on her, which was
Finally.
appreciated, but still not much.
And we've got a ton on Shin.
Yeah.
So.
Which we kind of needed because before it was even explained, I'm like, so that guy just can read people's minds?
Yeah.
Like, there's no rules for anything?
Yeah, unfortunately,
Which is
they
fun.
have made that a not invincible power, which is nice.
Yeah.
Even in the towards the end of the season, he was kind of presented with a basically sensory overload, which was nice to see that he could. There's people who can just block out their thoughts. There's people who can just have too many thoughts, basically, for him.
Yeah, it's way less useful than it seems like it would be in this show.
Yeah, it works on normies just fine.
Yeah.
But anyone trained seems to be able to handle it. So, which is good because he would also be very busted if that was not the case, especially in the context of that particular thing. If he actually knew the rules of these gambling games he was playing and could just read everyone's minds, he would be unstoppable. But because he's ignorant and that trick doesn't work on everybody, he had to struggle. So, and I do appreciate that. Sakamoto himself is a fun goofball type character who just defies all laws of everything when he decides to actually fight. But that's obviously the charm of him. I don't think I'll ever get used to someone being able to intentionally stop bullets with random inanimate objects like forks, jawbreakers, and bulletproof glasses. Even though they break all the time when he's stressed out, bullets can't go through them. So.
Yeah.
The art style is fun, though I do think Shin's character design is a little goofy. His eyes are huge. Every other character I like the look of, though, so he's the only one I have any nitpick on. He looks a little out of place, in my opinion. The variety also of like enemy types, even though they're very like tropey, are fun, which is nice. I think the most like intense thing we really saw was the deer guy. I can't remember his name, but he was kind of a jack of a lot of trades, basically, because of the way his body was formed. And it was probably one of the more interesting ones.
Yeah, though I think it's weird he wears the deer head all the time, but then he takes it off, and then he's just this Frankenstein machine guy. It's like, why even have... I guess maybe he's hiding his face, but like... I don't know. It's just a weird design.
Yeah, for sure. Someone else is going to bring up. Oh, and then a couple of the guys who have survived their encounter with Sakamoto, even though they technically all survive, he doesn't kill anyone. The guy with the invisibility coat, not only did he survive the encounter, but we've seen him again now, which is kind of weird.
Which, on the episode he was in, I said that the way they're presenting him made me think that he would be a character we're going to see later that's going to be like friendly, because they really tried to press that he was skillful, but they never in the storytelling showed him as somebody who's like either dedicated or ideologically against them.
He was just doing the job, right?
So
it's kind of the same with the sniper guy too.
Yeah, well, yeah, but Heisuke has already become like friendly with them. He helped him in that episode.
Yeah.
So Sabadude has a similar presence to him, and even the way he talks and acts seems like they want you to like him. So I wouldn't be surprised in season 2 if he becomes like a regular.
Or if he shows up occasionally, kind of like what'd you say, Heisuke?
Heisuke.
Does. Who, speaking
Heisuke.
of him, is probably one of the more fun characters.
Yeah.
I especially like his little companion, but I always like people who have little like animated pet companions and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of oh no, what's his name from Demon Slayer? Oh my god, the lightning guy. Zenitsu, because his bird's also like really crazy and animated too. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I could really say about it. It's a very straightforward show.
Yeah.
Which is I think a little bit of a weakness of it, and not that it has to be super complicated, but it's a little too easy to follow. But it's fun, and that's all it really needs to be. If I had any desire for the direction of the show's going, though, I'd probably say I'd like to see a little more storytelling, because I think it's a little vague on it too much, to the point where it almost feels like it doesn't know if there is a story or not. And then I would also like to see, just kind of bring it up again, the main side cast. Shin gets a lot of spotlight. Lou doesn't. I'd like to see a little more of Lou. But we see, plenty of Sakamoto and Shin. So there's no reason that they can't, unless they just, decide not to utilize her, which would be a shame, because I think otherwise she's a fun character. So
Yeah.
but yeah, overall, it's a good show. It's not amazing. It's not bad. It's kind of in the middle for me, but enough for me to want to watch more. So.
Yeah. Overall, I thought season 1 was fine. I think my 2 favorite things about the show is the premise, which is what the show relies on the most, is that we're going to expect assassins to come after him, and we're going to see how he gets out of it. So yeah, the premise, and then also I think the creativity of the scenarios I think is fun, like the roller coaster fight scene, the different ways Sakamoto always uses physicality to get out of situations, even playing casino games, which is ridiculous that he's like physically swapping cards, holding a card so tight a guy can't pull it so he could switch them, flicking a chip to change the trajectory of something spinning, among obviously all the physical stuff he does to fight people. That's my 2 favorite things about the show. Otherwise, I think the art style is okay. I'm not a huge fan of it. I like the design of some of the characters, but some of the characters, I think it's like all over the place. And I think Shin is the best example of how different people can look in the show. But a lot of the enemy assassin people who show up are either pretty interesting looking to kind of like crazy looking. Like the design is like so like all over the place. I'm just like, I don't know. I'm not hugely in love with the art style of the show, but I think it's fine. I think some of the characters are also good looking, and I think they're also trying to emphasize that within the seedy underworld of like assassins, people are like, they look crazy because they're not just like normal people. So yeah. I kind of get where they're coming from with that. But yeah, not super in love with the art style. Animation is fine. It's as good as for a show that's like comedic first, action second. It doesn't need to be crazy animation. This doesn't need to be like Solo Leveling. It doesn't need to be fucking Demon Slayer.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And I think they convey the fight scenes appropriately, and they are always creative. So I'll give them that for sure. So that's cool. The characters are also fine, but I don't think any of them are like super fleshed out, and they don't need to be like super deep because it's just a comedic show. But within the first episode, any characters introduced, we pretty much got their whole personality. You can always kind of rely on the exact same thing to happen in every single episode, with Shin, with Lou, with Heisuke, with even though I think Heisuke was probably one of my favorite characters because I like goofier, ridiculous characters in animes. Sakamoto's fun, but he's also kind of like, he's supposed to be like stoic and stern and doesn't say much, which I think is an interesting way to kind of play with Shin in the show, especially multiple times where the problem solving came down to them communicating via just thought. That was always kind of cool.
Yeah, super creative.
When they fought the doctor, the way that they resolved that fight, I thought was creative. So again, one of my favorite things about the show is the creativity of the scenarios and how they play out. But I didn't like super love any of the characters, which kind of sucks. I think I like the premise more than the characters, which is weird. I don't think any of the characters are bad.
I'd probably agree with that.
They're all like super cliche, and you're going to expect that from like everything. Everything's going to have cliche characters. It's fine, but they don't really come out of their shell much. In every single episode, they're always the exact same, and Shin's going to always support Sakamoto and have his back nonstop, and I feel like we just don't get much from them. They don't really grow, or we don't get new things introduced, except for randomly when Lou, we just found out, was like an alcoholic. Like out of nowhere, like, oh, she drinks and gets crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then I would also like more from their backstories. We have gotten some stuff from Shin and a little bit from Sakamoto. I don't know if there's much to tell there outside of, when a new character might show up, we might need to know what their connection is. I get that. But with Lou, we haven't really got much from her. Heisuke, we got these brief things about them where, at some point in their past, they felt like they were, a loser, they sucked, and then, Sakamoto's going to make them feel better. But I would just like more from that, maybe, from the characters. And again, it's a comedic show. It doesn't need to be super in-depth. I'm not expecting that. I just want more from them. Characters are fine. Animation is fine. Design of the characters in the world. The world looks good in the way they drew that. But characters, like, kind of inconsistent. Story's okay. The comedy goes from fine to good. There's definitely some funny parts in like every single episode, which I would hope so for a show that's trying to be funny. And yeah, what else do I got from this? I am interested in season 2. I'm not like super excited for it. I'm not hyped for it, but I'm kind of invested now, and I'd like to know where the story goes.
Yeah.
If season 2 kind of felt like it didn't go anywhere, I think I would probably drop the show, but I am curious enough to see where season 2, like, what are they going to do with it? Maybe season 2 will be like way better, like, not to bring up other animes, but like, and I won't say anything spoilery, but the season 1 of Solo Leveling I thought was like pretty cool, and season 2 is like way better. So that can happen, and so maybe Sakamoto Days season 2. If we do get a season 2, will make retroactively the first season better, or just be so good that I'm like, okay, this is better than the first season. So
right, it's worth the sit.
Yeah, so I am open to the next season, but no big hype. I'm not like stoked for it, but I would definitely check it out. So overall, season 1 of Sakamoto Days was a fun, I wouldn't say throwaway, but just kind of a fun, you don't have to think too hard, just kind of enjoy every episode show that I don't know if I would hard recommend to people, but if somebody's looking for like kind of I don't want to have to think too much, just kind of have fun comedic anime, maybe they're into John Wick or Assassins and stuff like that, I would probably recommend this to them.
Yeah, so that is, I kind of understand that, because it's tricky. There's so much anime every single season.
Yep.
Like too much to watch, to be honest.
Yeah.
That I kind of agree. I don't know. This would be my first recommendation in any category.
Yeah, if somebody like really liked One Punch Man, they're looking for like another funny anime, it'd be like, did you see Sakamoto Days?
Yeah, I could kind of see that, though. I would immediately tell them to watch Mob Psycho instead, even though it's not the same, like, thematically, it's the same mind behind the show, though. And Mob Psycho is amazing. So
yeah,
I
still need to watch.
I think it's better than One Punch Man, because there's like story happening, and One Punch Man is more of that comedic first, type of thing. So plus Madhouse is awesome. So I think it was Madhouse. Anyways, yeah, same people did Freeman. So, but anyways, I agree with that sentiment. So
yeah. I think that's all I got, though.
Okay.
What would you grade it?
Feeling C plus.
Okay.
I liked it. It wasn't amazing. I didn't hate it, though. It doesn't deserve a bad grade at all. But I do want more from it. So I would say C plus. And kind of like you said, season 2 comes out and it stays about the same. That's fine. I could watch it. It might turn into a binge at the end of the season type of show for me if there's too many other shows. And if it's a slow season, then I can watch it episodically. And if it's better, that's great. It's what I want from any show, to be honest.
Yeah, even if it got slightly better, I'd be happy. I feel like it just needs a little bit of something.
Yeah, but if it gets stale, it'll definitely be a what I like to use as when I'm at the gym and need something to do on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Show. So
yeah, that's fair. Okay, well, you went with C plus. I wasn't expecting that from you. I'm also going to give it a C plus. I thought I was going to go kind of hard on it, but you're giving the exact same grade. So I'm going to give it a C plus as well. I think it's a serviceable, fun premise anime that has potential. I want more from that, will entertain you. You're not going to be bored watching this show, but I don't think it really offers anything that I can really invest myself in or be really excited about, or run out and let people know like, oh, did you see Sakamoto Days? But if it came up, I'd be like, yeah, it was fun. I liked it. But yeah, I don't feel a B. Definitely don't feel an A. But I don't think I could give it just a C, because I think it's just a little better than passing, just because premise and the creativity I think is a lot of fun. And I'm hoping for more from season 2 that will get me more excited for the premise.
Yeah. I also think it's a really bad season for it, because it had to compete against Soul Leveling, it had to compete against ReZero, it had to compete against things like Danmachi came out as well.
Luckily,
Rurouni
none of that
Kenshin
affects.
came out. Like,
None of that
so
affects
many
my opinion, but
sure, but just as like the season was really stacked for anyone who watches a lot of anime. It was kind of like, in my opinion, one of the lesser shows of the season. But there was a lot of like sequels of big shows this season, so it was a rough season to come out in.
Yeah, and
next season would have been better for them.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
And we are watching Soul Leveling. We'll be doing a season 2 review of that soon. We are doing episodic reviews of that though, so make sure to check those out. But yeah, if I were comparing the two, Soul Leveling is definitely in a different bracket of anime. So
that's the show, like the big
block,
show of the season,
blockbuster.
outside of like anyone who's been following any of the other shows I brought up. So
yeah, but I think you still need like animes that aren't like the big AAA blockbuster show that everybody's talking about. You need like just the fun in between stuff. So I think Sakamoto Days does a good job there. But yeah, I do agree. Compared to the other things coming out, it might not hold up as much.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's like, you take whatever slot you can get when it comes to, like, because I know a lot of animes based off like scheduling for TV and stuff like that, because they're not as embraced. I mean, they do obviously the digital formats as well, but they still do a lot of like TV with it. And I think if they could have gotten, we're heading into spring season, that would have been, I think, more ideal, because like for when I was looking for shows for us to watch, even for myself, because I watch a lot of stuff outside of the show, I only have one other show outside of the one we're going to do. It's a real slow season. It would have been like perfect to have something to watch that season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Rough season. And then fall's going to be a nightmare, but in a good way. Good problem, but we'll get there.
Yep. All right. Well, we both gave it a C+. We both seem to have liked it, but not love it. And we're looking forward to season 2 if it gets made. So, yeah. Anything else?
Well, no. On to the next shows here soon. So,
yep. Which we are planning on watching Lazarus. I'm very excited for that. And we are going to probably, if we have time, I think it's the plan, watch Shogun, which came out a while ago, but we didn't watch it. So whether we do,
good things, so.
We'll do episodic reviews of one or both of them, but I'm not sure yet. We'll watch them, give our early impressions, and then feel it out from there. Yeah. But let us know in the comments what you guys think about Sakamoto Days Season 1. You can talk full spoilers here. Obviously, we all watched it. What did you think of the season? What was some of your favorite episodes, favorite characters? What do you think about like the animation, the art design, character design?
How'd it hold up compared to the manga?
Yeah, if you have read the manga, please no spoilers for beyond this season. But yeah, how's it compare? That's a good question. And yeah, what'd you think of the whole season? Favorite things about it, and maybe you have some complaints. And then what do you think about our grades and all that? But I think that's going to do it for this review for Sakamoto Days Season 1. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned. We will have more Soul Leveling reviews. We'll be doing a season review of that, and more reviews of animes coming soon. Give us recommendations if you have any. Can't guarantee we'll watch them, but throw some out there. Get the juices flowing for us to think about things to watch, and doesn't even have to be anime, just anything in general. And yeah, I've been Seth, this has been Chevy, and we'll talk to you guys later.